Laura. Welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited to be reacting to someone new to me today. This is SEO YEONG TAEK, Love Spell. Now, from my understanding of the little research that I did, he is in a group called La Fortina or La Fortena, and he's a trained professional. So I'm really excited to be reacting to him and see what this is all about. Let's go ahead and get started. Pretty already. It's so interesting, like when you hear the difference between a pop singer and a classically trained singer. Both beautiful in their different ways, but like since it's like I'm classically trained, like this just touches a different place in my heart than like when I'm listening to pop music. Pretty. Pretty. I love the orchestra behind this. This reminds me a lot of like what Art Song is like from the Romantic era. Ooh, very good. Indie consonants. Ooh, a key change. Here we go. Pretty. Pretty with the ending with the harp. Very nice. It's his first digital single album. Okay, so something I wanted to point out that I mentioned from the very beginning is that I mean, I did look him up ahead of time, so I knew he was classically trained, but you can tell when someone is classically trained pretty easily, depending on how their singing style is. So as far as for this, like, you could definitely tell that he's classically trained simply by the way that he's using his vibrato. So what vibrato is the natural way that our voice when we're singing, our voice wavers back and forth to have the pitch be just to be on tone. So like if I just look up a classical definition, like it's just a rapid slight variation in pitch in singing or playing some musical instruments, producing a song or a richer tone. So what that means is it's just when your voice is going like this. Okay. And the common point in vibrato is when it's going up and down and it's hitting at the same point. So if it's going up and down, that middle part is where the pitch is. Okay. That's where we are hearing the pitch. So if you're producing vibrato correctly, because pitch is not, sounds are on a wave. So if, you have that's what determines how high or low the pitch, plus if it's in tune or not. Okay. So usually, as a classically trained musician, what we are taught is how to manipulate our vibrato in many different ways. And normally we do what's, a style called bel canto singing, which is beautiful singing, means beautiful voice. And we want to consistently have that vibrato. Now there are times where we, do what we call straight tone, where we don't add any vibrato at all. That is a style that's definitely linked to pop music and definitely more musical theater styles, I would say, than a classically trained voice. So that's why you hear a lot of times, and I've mentioned this before, you'll hear in musical theater, they'll sing something and there's no vibrato. It's very straight. And then at the end, they do. It's a very classic, that's classic, musical theater technique. It's something that, you can hear a lot of artists do. And it has kind of come over into, I would say, the pop world as well, because more and more people, especially if you're a more trained singer and you're singing pop, then you might want to add those variations to make it sound more interesting and things like that. So that's just something you can kind of notice immediately when you're listening to, if you're listening to someone and you hear the vibrato, you can probably guess they're classically trained, or they take lessons or things like that, or they're very aware of what's going on with their pitch. Pop artists don't do that necessarily, because for pop, you want it to be more straight tone, and you want to hear, basically when little music history lesson, when pop music was kind of originally formed, it was it was meant popular of the time, right? So when it was originally kind of invented, it was kind of this play off of rather, especially in the 1950s, rock started becoming heavily influenced and started to change. So they combated it with this thing called bubblegum pop. And bubblegum pop was very love song and cheerful and this kind of stuff. And so that was to counteract what the rock movement was saying at the time. And so what happened is after that is that pop became its own category, even though pop means popular, right? That's what it came from, is the popular music of the time. It became its own category because it was going against, at that time, it was really going against the rock movement in the 1950s and 60s. I go into a whole history thing about that anyways, but that's kind of when the movement really came forward. And that's why we have this differentiation in singing a lot, because there was a lot of things that were happening, especially within the rock world. And then when you get in there, you get, R&B and soul, adding into that, right? And it kind of is this explosion of things. And that's how pop kind of became its own category at that point. So you really don't necessarily hear the vibrato in comparison to a classically trained voice as much. So that's what I found really interesting. I thought that it was so wonderful to hear him sing, to compare. Like I mentioned, I was I'm hearing lots of ending consonants and things like that. Because in pop music, we don't necessarily focus on that, because it's not the style of the music. So it's nice to see it I would say this is more of I mean, this was a ballad, but it was more of a pop ballad, right? It was it wasn't sad or anything. It was very hopeful and joyful, which ballads don't have to be sad, but in general they tend to be. But it was really great to like just hear his voice focused on, like I said, he did a lot of felt very bel canto, very sing-songy, but it had that pop twist on it. So it sounded, very like uplifting, beautiful. So anyways, what I'm trying to get at is, I love the way in music how we can, differentiate these different things, but they all come back to this one beautiful art form, universal language, which is music. So I really enjoyed this. I'm really gonna have to go and like look into more of his music, because I feel like this is definitely like music that I am interested in as a classically trained artist. Obviously, I also love pop, because why else would I be reacting to all these pop songs if I didn't love them? Because I do. I love rock. I love all different styles. And so it's just nice to see, like, I love seeing how diverse Korean music is, just like our own music. Because, like, don't get me wrong, I love me some K-pop, right? I love K-pop, right? But I also love this style of music. And I also love, some Korean hip-hop. And I also love trot music. I love trot music, okay? I feel like I need to get into a whole section of that, because I love trot music. But it's just wonderful to see like this diversification of music. And I really hope that, artists like So Young Tak get a lot more recognition, because like this is so beautiful and like really amazing. So definitely check this song out. I hope you like take some of these like they're just like snippets of like, of recognition of, different technique styles that are used and things like that, and apply them to the music that you are listening to. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Tell me what you thought of this song. Bye bye.